You are 34. You have $310,000 in the bank. Your brother makes the same salary you do. He has $14,000 and $94,000 in debt on top of that. Same income. Same city. Same starting line. The difference isn't your job. It isn't luck. It isn't even really about money. The difference is one decision you made 10 years ago, and 10 years of people quietly deciding what that decision said about you. This is the story of driving the same car for a decade. Age 24. Saturday afternoon, a used car lot off the highway. The salesman's polo is one size too small. He calls you boss and shakes your hand a bit too long. He walks you past the trucks. Past a black BMW with 40,000 miles. He stops at a 2013 Toyota Corolla, gray, cloth interior, 71,000 miles, a dent in the bumper he calls character. You sit inside. The wheel is plain. The seat is firm. Nothing about this car will impress a single person you know. You pay $9,400. Cash. You drive home with the windows down because the AC makes a sound you'll spend the next 10 years learning not to hear. That night, kitchen table, a piece of paper. You do the math. $400 a month, invested, for 10 years. You read the number twice. Fold the paper. Put it in a drawer. You don't know it yet, but that drawer is going to become the most important place in your apartment. A month later, lunch with Frank, your father's oldest friend, 26 years in finance, the kind of man who never gives advice unless you ask for it twice. You mention the Corolla. You're a little proud of the deal. Frank doesn't say, good job. He just chews for a second, then says, you know what most people are actually buying when they buy a car. You say, transportation. Frank shakes his head. Permission. Permission to feel like they've made it. Permission to stop wondering if people are judging them. He wipes his mouth. That Corolla's the first car I've heard of in 20 years that nobody bought permission with. You laugh it off. Frank doesn't laugh. He says, almost to himself, ask me again in 10 years which one of us had the better lunch. You don't know it yet, but he's right. By a wide margin. Age 26. The Corolla has 89,000 miles. The seat squeaks now. You've stopped hearing that too. Tuesday morning, a coffee shop. The barista is 16 and her phone costs more than your car insurance for the year. The lot outside fills up, 2 Teslas, a BMW, a G-Wagon parked diagonally across 2 spaces like it's annoyed to be there at all. You look at the Corolla between them. It looks like a punchline nobody bothered to deliver. That afternoon your brother Jordan calls. 23, 8 months into his first real job. I got a car, he says. What kind? 2023 Acura. Lease. $490 a month, basically free. You drive over that weekend. The Acura sits in the lot, black and polished, and Jordan walks around it the way men walk around things they're still convincing themselves they can afford. His phone buzzes on the hood. He glances at it, and something, just for half a second, moves across his face. He puts it face down without answering. You don't ask. The car is still the car. Age 28. 112,000 miles. The driver's door takes 2 pulls now, you know the trick, hip first, then the handle. This is the year you learn that pity is heavier than mockery. Greg from accounting still has jokes, still rocking the Corolla, my man. And those, somehow, don't land anymore. You've built a callus for Greg. What you don't have a callus for is Rachel. Rachel is 46, drives a Camry, has worked in the building longer than you've been alive. One Monday she stops by your car in the lot, looks at it for a second too long, and says, gently, honey, are you doing okay? Money-wise? You say you're fine. She says, if you ever need a little help, just ask. We've all had hard years. She pats your arm and walks away. And you stand there with $91,000 in savings, unable to say a single word of it, because the truth would sound like bragging and the lie taste like defeat. That's the year the doubt moves in. Not loud. Just present. Like a roommate you didn't invite. Stop here for a second. Because if you're watching this and some part of you is thinking about your own car, your own apartment, your own choice that everyone around you quietly decided was a little sad, I want you to notice something. Notice how much of that feeling has nothing to do with the thing itself, and everything to do with what other people think the thing says about you. Rachel wasn't wrong to be kind. But her kindness was built on an assumption that a person driving an old car must be struggling. And that assumption said more about her world than about yours. The hardest part of building real wealth quietly is that almost nobody is equipped to recognize it. They're only equipped to recognize the absence of struggle. And those are not the same thing. Hold on to that. We're going to need it. Age 30. 136,000 miles. A new sound has started under the hood, a faint tick, like a clock counting down to something. You ignore it. You're good at that now. You've been with Sarah for 8 months. She's a nurse. She drives a Honda Fit. She has never once said a word about your car. In June, you take her to a friend's wedding, outdoor venue, white flowers, a string quartet. You park in the back row, walk in holding her hand past a lot full of Range Rovers and one Porsche parked at an angle that says "Look at me." Inside, Jordan arrives in a brand new electric SUV, matte gray, the kind that turns heads in a parking lot full of cars that already turn heads. Sarah's face changes for half a second. She catches herself. But you saw it. Later, in the car, she's quiet. Then, I just want you to be able to enjoy your money. That's all. It's not an accusation. That's what makes it sting. You drop her home. You drive back alone. That night, on the couch at 1 a.m., you open a car buying app. A 2024 Lexus. $43,000. Financing available. Your thumb hovers over the button for a long time. You think about Sarah's face. You think about Jordan's car. You think about Frank, 10 years from a lunch you can still recite word for word. You close the app. You take out the paper from the drawer. The number now reads $148,000. You put it back. You don't sleep great that night. But you don't open the app again either. Age 32. 162,000 miles. A Tuesday morning, 6 a.m., 12 degrees outside. You turn the key. Nothing. Again, a click, then silence. Dead battery. You've done this before. You call for a jump. The guy who shows up is maybe 25, beard, a coffee in the cup holder of his truck. Name tag says Marcus. He pops the hood, hooks up the cables, glances at the car, the dent, the mileage sticker peeling off the windshield. How long you had this thing? 8 years. He stops what he's doing for a second. 8 years. Same car? Yeah. He shakes his head, but he's smiling. My dad drove a Camry for 19 years. Paid cash for it. Used what he didn't spend on cars to put me through college. He starts the Corolla. It coughs, catches, runs. Everybody thought he was cheap. He closes the hood. He wasn't cheap. He was free. He drives off. You sit there as the heater kicks in, and you don't put the car in gear for almost a full minute. Something in your chest has shifted. You can't name it yet. But it's the first time in 8 years that someone looked at this car and saw something true about it. That night, you take out the paper. You write a new number, $241,000. This time, you don't put it back in the drawer. You leave it on the counter, where you'll see it every morning. That weekend, Jordan calls. He needs $3,000, just until next month, he says. You send it. You don't ask what it's for. You already know. Age 34. 198,000 miles. A Friday afternoon, a stoplight, and then, a grinding sound under the hood, a hiss, then nothing. You coast into a parking lot. The mechanic looks at it for an hour, comes back wiping his hands. Head gasket. $2,800 to fix. Honestly, I wouldn't. You sit on a bench outside the shop. The sun is warm. You're not sad, you're almost relieved, the way you feel when something finally finishes a sentence it's been saying for years. You open your banking app, $310,000. You sit with that number for a long time. That afternoon, Frank calls. He's 68 now, retired, voice a little slower than it used to be. Heard the Corolla finally gave up, he says. How'd you know that already? Your dad told me. He's proud of you, you know. Has been for a while. You don't say anything for a second. Frank says, you remember that lunch? I remember every word. He laughs, a real laugh. You were the only person I ever said that to who actually listened. Most people just smile and order the steak. You were right, you tell him. I know, Frank says. But you're the one who did it. That part was you. He hangs up before either of you has to make it more than it is. That evening you walk to a lot near your apartment. A 2021 Corolla, 46,000 miles, $11,800. You pay cash. You drive it home, and the AC works. You almost don't know what to do with the silence. Your phone buzzes. Jordan. Can we talk? I'm in trouble. You read it twice. You text back, come over. He shows up at 9. 31 years old, looking closer to 50. He sits on your couch and says it plainly, I owe $94,000. 3 cards, the lease, a watch I bought because I don't even know why I bought it. You make him coffee. You sit across from him. How did you do it? He asks. Be honest. I want to actually know. You think about Frank. About Marcus. About the paper in the drawer that isn't in a drawer anymore. I stopped buying permission, you say. Jordan looks at you like you've answered in a language he hasn't learned yet. He will, eventually. Most people do, usually around the time they're sitting where he's sitting now. You drive him home in the new Corolla. The radio works. The heater works. It's just a car, doing what cars do. You pull into your driveway a little after midnight. You sit there for a minute with the engine off. The gas station guy. The woman with the Range Rover. Rachel. Greg. Marcus. Sarah. Your mother. Frank. They all saw a car. You were the only one who ever saw the question underneath it. The question was never what should I drive. The question was who decides what I'm worth, me, or everyone watching me drive away. 10 years later, you finally know the answer. Maybe you're the person who's been driving the same car for years, wondering if everyone's right about you. Maybe you're the one who's been a little too comfortable being looked at like Jordan. Either way, there's a piece of paper somewhere with your name on it. A number that's either growing in silence, or staying exactly where it is because you're still buying permission, one payment at a time. Nobody's going to ask you to check it. That part's on you.